तो थोड़ा सा इस साइड पे रखिए ना, क्योंकि सर यहाँ पे फ्लैश करेगा।
हमने तो सर ये कहा नीचे रख दो, इसका मुंह इधर कर दो। अब नीचे भी नहीं रख रहे हो, सर हमारा माइक नहीं लगेगा।
माइक नहीं लगेगा ना, आप यहाँ रखवा दीजिए, सबके माइक लग जाएंगे। यहाँ पे रखवा दीजिए, क्योंकि ये जगह भी वो हो जाएगी सर।
हमको कोई दिक्कत हो जाएगा तो पीछे करवा है ना।
कोई दिक्कत नहीं है,
ये दिक्कत नहीं है, माइक में एको जाएगा।
हाँ तो उधर नहीं रखो, कोई दिक्कत नहीं।
हाँ इधर कर दो, जमीन में रख दो।
जमीन में रखो।
इसको गलती से भी उधर मत घुमाना। उधर नहीं घूमेगा, मैं कह रहा हूँ जमीन में रख दो सर। हम माइक कैसे रखे, फिर इतना ऊंचा माइक रखा दो ना यार इधर। कॉर्डलेस है सर हमारे पास,
कॉर्डलेस को कहाँ टांगेंगे
तो ताकि हम अपना बैग रख के रख देंगे, गिर जाएगा। अच्छा पॉसिबिलिटी करके रख दो आप ऐसे
नीचे रखने की पॉसिबिलिटी,
हम अपना कैमरा बैग रख देंगे, फिर जिसको ऐसे खड़ा कर देखने की पॉसिबिलिटी है तो चेक करो, बात करके देख लो। चेयर घुमाना, चेयर के ऊपर रख देना, और चेयर के आगे एक और चेयर रख दो, उस पर सारे अपने माइक रख दो। ठीक है, हो गया। हाँ हो गया, चेयर पर रख दो। हाँ चेयर पे घुमाओ, चेयर के आगे एक और चेयर रखवा रहा हूँ, उस अपने माइक रख दो। ठीक है, भाई चेयर लिया वहाँ से,
कौन सी बताओ?
सामने से लिया ना कोई।
अरे ये नहीं ना चाहिए भाई,
बैठेंगे लोग तो कम तो नहीं होगा।
नहीं होगा।
आपका काम पूरा कम होने ज़्यादा होने का छोड़ दो आप।
ठीक है, हाँ हो जाएगा।
चलो हो गया, लाओ भाई चलो अपने अपने। हो गया। ऐसी होगा जब तक मैंने कल प्रॉब्लम बताई थी यार, को बहुत बैठे नीचे रखो, नीचे कोई दिक्कत नहीं है। मैंने वो लगाएगा ये डर रहे हैं, उनके पास सेल नहीं है। ऑन कर तो बंद हो जाएगा, तो बंद हो जाएगा। मेरा है 537 600 550 नहीं होना चाहिए।
हेलो 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 चेक, हेलो 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 चेक, हेलो 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 ऑडियो चेक 1 2 3, हेलो चेक 1 1 1 चेक 1, हेलो चेक 1 1 1, हेलो चेक 1 1 1 1 आ रहा है।
go to the lobby, on the left you'll find it.
बोलेंगे तभी तो, अभी तो कुछ है ही नहीं। नहीं आ रहा इसमें ऑडियो।
बोलना उसको जाके इसको फेंक।
हेलो 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 हेलो।
Good afternoon.
आ गया आ गया आ गया आ गया।
Honorable Minister for Petroleum and Natural Gas and Housing and Urban Affairs, Mr. Hardeep Singh Puri ji, Secretary, Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas, Mr. Pankaj Jain ji, Chairman, Indian Oil, Mr. Shrikant Madhav Vaidya ji, friends from the media, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you all this afternoon to the launch of India's first reference fuel developed by Indian Oil, fueling Atmanirbhar Bharat. In line with the Make in India policy, Indian Oil Corporation Limited has been introducing indigenous products. Today, Indian Oil is all set to lead the way towards self-reliance with the reference fuel. These premium fuels are used for calibration and testing by auto original equipment manufacturers and testing organizations in the automotive field. This is the very first time that reference fuel is being produced indigenously. Without further ado, I would now like to request Shri S.M. Vaidya, Chairman Indian Oil, to kindly deliver the welcome address.
Honorable Union Minister of Petroleum and Natural Gas and Housing and Urban Affairs, Shri Hardeep Singh Puri ji, Secretary, Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas, Shri Pankaj Jain ji, senior officials from the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas, industry leaders from the oil and gas PSUs, senior management from the auto OEMs, industry bodies and automotive certification and testing agencies, fellow directors on the board of Indian Oil, friends from the media, ladies and gentlemen. A very good afternoon to you all. Welcome to the rollout of India's first reference fuel, which undoubtedly is a historic moment for India and the Indian automotive industry, Atmanirbhar journey. Indian Oil is incredibly proud to introduce the gasoline reference fuel and diesel reference fuel, which have been indigenously produced by leveraging Indian Oil's in-house resources. Let me thank the Honorable Minister and our esteemed guests for sparing their valuable time to be with us here today for gracing the launch. Your presence mirrors the significance of this milestone achievement in the Indian oil and gas sector. The domestic production of these gasoline and diesel reference fuel will herald a new chapter in an endeavor to be the energy independent nation. Sir, I am glad to share that Indian Oil has established facilities for production of gasoline reference fuel E0, E5, E10, E20 and E85 at Paradeep Refinery and diesel reference fuel B7 at Panipat Refinery. These reference fuels have been rigorously tested in NABL accredited refinery laboratories, Indian Oil R&D Center and reputed international laboratories and confirms to the stringent quality standards. Indigenously developed by Indian Oil, these reference fuels are very high value premium products used for calibration and testing of vehicles by auto OEMs and automotive certification and testing agencies for homologation, calibration, and emission certification of engines and other developmental activities. I am sure the indigenous availability of these fuels will benefit the automotive industry across India. The current demand in the country for gasoline reference fuel is estimated to be 120 KL per annum, and for diesel it is around 15 KL per annum. Indian Oil is all set to meet this demand and also to cater to the export requirements by ramping up its existing facilities. The reference fuels will be available in 200-liter drums so that it is easily transportable and we can supply in any volume. Currently, India is the third largest automobile market in the world in terms of sales, and given the robust growth trajectory of the Indian automotive industry, indigenous innovations will have a pivotal influence. Last year, Indian Oil introduced the indigenously developed specialized aviation gasoline, AVLL 100, as a replacement for imported options for piston engine aircrafts. With today's introduction of reference fuels, I am sure it will mark another significant milestone in our commitment to serve the nation as the energy provider for India. I firmly believe that the path to a self-reliant India lies in innovation, sustainability, and an unshakable dedication to the vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat, Make in India, and Make for the World. Thank you and Jai Hind.
Thank you, Mr. Vaidya, for giving us an account on all the accomplishments of the Indian Oil and on its road ahead. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's take you through this 3-minute audio-visual screening, which will highlight the product description, processing and usage, and pioneering initiative by Atmanirbhar Bharat. Kindly take a look.
India, a nation rich in biodiversity, culture and natural resources, has been progressing towards a global advancement in technology, industries and infrastructure as well. Narendra Modi, the Honorable Prime Minister of India, has envisaged and committed his endeavors to building a holistic and self-reliant India.
आत्मनिर्भर भारत पूर्ण आजादी का मूल स्वरूप ही है, जहां हम किसी पर भी निर्भर नहीं रहते।
Indian Oil celebrates an Atmanirbhar Bharat and the Make in India, Make for World policy by bringing about a pioneering infrastructure for production of reference fuel in India, making India one amongst the few countries that develop reference fuel. For several years now, India has been importing its reference fuel. By developing reference fuel within the country that substitutes imports and offers a better price and significantly reduced lead time, Indian Oil is gearing up a paradigm shift. Reference fuel are imperative for auto manufacturers in assessing the efficiency and performative modes of their new engine prototypes. Original equipment manufacturers, OEMs, heavily use these fuels for vehicle certification, thus marking remarkable performance. Other testing agencies deploy usage of reference fuel for engine and vehicle certification. These fuels are used for calibration and testing of vehicle by automobile manufacturers and testing agencies like ARAI, Automotive Research Association of India. Currently, the Paradeep refinery and the Panipat refinery in the country are involved in the state-of-the-art production of reference fuel in close consideration with best practices of handling and storage, where reference gasoline fuel in grades E0, E5, E10, E20, E85, each having distinct specifications than normal ethanol blended gasoline, will be available at the Paradeep refinery, while reference diesel fuel in B7 grade will be available at Panipat refinery. Specification requirements of reference fuels are more stringent than commercial gasoline and diesel. To meet the international standards, these products had passed through 3 layers of certification, viz. NABL accredited refinery labs, Indian Oil R&D Center, and an internationally reputed third-party lab. Indian Oil has earlier also taken the initiative to produce domestically avgas 100 the type of aviation fuel used in small piston engine powered aircraft, to boost the philosophy of Atmanirbhar Bharat. As a result of which, apart from meeting domestic demand, Indian Oil could also export avgas 100 to countries Papua New Guinea and Sri Lanka. Now, as we stride forward with the philosophy of nation first, Indian Oil's revolutionary reference fuel are highlighting the self-reliance of this nation in the panoramic global fabric of industries and infrastructure. Through such confident initiatives and execution, we hope the nation drives towards an impactful and brighter future, thereby creating a sustainable ecosystem for Atmanirbhar Bharat to excel and prosper in all sectors. Shri Hardeep Singh Puri, Honorable Minister of Petroleum and Natural Gas and Housing and Urban Affairs, is launching the first ever Made in India reference gasoline and diesel today.
Indian Oil has always made the country proud with its initiatives at every point. This audiovisual has established that fact even further. May I now please request Shri Pankaj Jain, Secretary, Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas, to kindly address this August gathering.
Honorable Minister, Shri Hardeep Singh Puri ji, Chairman Indian Oil, Shri Vaidya, all my friends and colleagues from Indian Oil, from the other companies, the oil and gas sector, friends from the media. When I was asked to come for this event, it just set me thinking. What you are seeing today is only an outcome. What we are missing out today is perhaps the many things which made it happen. And let me just explain this a bit. We were importing reference fuels earlier. Why were we doing that? And what changed from then to now? It's not that suddenly one fine morning Indian Oil decided that I will make reference fuels. A lot of things have actually happened behind the curtain, behind the scene. And it's a bit like what you used to do as a child, joining dots to get a picture. That is what has really happened. So think of it this way. Indian Oil itself had very humble origins, starting from Indian Oil Marketing and another Indian Oil company coming together, no refineries at that point of time, setting up refineries, producing something. Over time, what they discovered was that a reference fuel did not have enough demand in the country to justify investments, to justify production. What changed? The automobile industry started to grow in India. The automobile industry became of a very significant size, so that itself became a demand driver. Next, you started looking at your own in-house capabilities. Can you do this? Can you deliver quality of a reference fuel on a sustained basis? Is your R&D up to speed? So you invest in R&D, you invest in quality in your refineries. Third, do you have testing facilities? So you have NABL accredited labs which came up. You have your own labs which were doing this. Fourth, you wanted to make sure that when you are delivering this, you are delivering it at a price where it's competitive for somebody else to do that, which again means going back to the drawing board, which again means that you work on ways to bring down the price and make sure that your customers will eventually be looking at only you and not be looking at imports. Now, all these things happen because somebody sitting in a very different place was working on automobiles. Somebody sitting in a third place is working on improving the quality of labs in India. And in Indian Oil, somebody sitting in R&D is working unaware of what is happening, let us say, or how refinery improvement is taking place. But when you put all of them together, you suddenly start seeing magic happening. And to my mind, this magic which has happened in terms of reference fuels, giving us a place in the world that if you are in this region of this part of the world, if there is a supplier of reference fuels of quality, of quantity, and of price, then it will be Indian Oil. And that is really how all this is put together. So my compliments really to Indian Oil for making it possible and delivering this at a very appropriate time and actually reflecting the ethos of an economy which is fifth today in GDP size, which will be third very soon, but it is commensurate in thinking with the size of the economy and with our aspirations. So my congratulations once again to you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Pankaj, for those encouraging words. And now, ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment that we've all been waiting for. We're all going to witness the launch of India's first reference fuels developed by Indian Oil as the product barrel is about to be unveiled. May I request the Union Minister, Shri Hardeep Singh Puri, to kindly do the honors by unveiling these two barrels on your left. We have gasoline reference fuel grade E10, and we have diesel reference fuel grade B7. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together as these two fuels get unveiled by the Honorable Minister, Shri Hardeep Singh Puri ji. And now may I request the Chairman Indian Oil, Mr. S.M. Vaidya, to kindly present the fuel samples to Mr. Hardeep Singh Puri, please. Thank you, Mr. Vaidya. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we move on to the flagging off of the product trucks. The Paradeep refinery team is ready for flagging off the first truck with the reference gasoline fuel. Mr. Kaushik Basu, Executive Director and Refinery Head, Indian Oil, Paradeep Refinery, will be flagging off the truck from Paradeep. I request Honorable Petroleum Minister to please give his kind permission for the flag off. Yes. So the permission has been granted. Paradeep Refinery team may kindly go ahead with the flag off. And we can all see that on these screens.
Thank you, sir.
We also have the Panipat refinery team, which is ready for the flag off of the diesel reference fuel trucks. Mr. M.L. Dharia, Executive Director and Refinery Head, Indian Oil Panipat Refinery and Petrochemical Complex, will be flagging off the truck from Panipat. I would like to seek permission from the Honorable Minister for the flag off. The permission has been granted. Panipat Refinery may kindly go ahead with the flag off. And now, may I take this opportunity of inviting the Honorable Minister of Petroleum and Natural Gas and Urban Affairs, Shri Hardeep Singh Puri, to kindly address this August gathering.
My colleagues and collaborators, Shri Pankaj Jain ji, Shri Vaidya ji, friends from Indian Oil and the other companies. I think what we are witnessing today is a true manifestation of the journey to achieve Atmanirbharta. I remember it was, I think, in November 2022, when in a similar kind of event, Vaidya ji asked me to join on another important similar step earlier, aviation gas 100 LL. We used to import that, then you used your professional expertise and your intellectual abilities to produce that in India, and now I believe you are exporting it also to other countries in the region, at least if not elsewhere. Even to Papua New Guinea, yes, I remember. And we used to import about, what, 1,000 kiloliters of that. Today, it's not just the quantity and the money involved, but the fact that you are able to do it. Similarly, I find that in the case of these reference fuels, what encourages me is that with this Atmanirbhar production in India, IOCL will join a very select group of companies globally, the others being Chevron Phillips and a German company, I believe, called Huntersmann. So there are only 3 countries in the world which will make these reference fuels. And I think that's a big step. It's not just the quantity you import, I believe not more than 150 kiloliters. No. And the price is high. Unlike normal fuel, which is retailing at what, 80, 90 rupees, this is about 500 rupees a liter. But it's the fact that you are able to step on and do this domestically and through an Atmanirbhar enterprise. I'm delighted to be here. I want to congratulate the Paradeep and Panipat refineries and all those who have been associated with this. The Honorable Prime Minister has always believed that energy has been and will be a key factor driving India's development ambitions. He announced on the 75th Independence Day, a new goal to transform India into an energy independent nation by 2047. That's also the target for us to be a Viksit or a developed country. I think the efforts which the oil companies have made so far and the efforts that will be made in the years to come on all fronts, whether it's exploration and production, enhancing both the amount of crude oil that we extract domestically, the amount of gas that we produce domestically, the green energy transition, on all these, I believe the target of 2047 is not only achievable, that we may be able to do it even earlier. There are encouraging signs on all fronts. When we address the 3 issues of availability, affordability and sustainability, there are several things we've done. We've diversified the energy supplies. The number of countries from which we import has gone up from 27 to 39. We have increased India's exploration and production footprint, and I think in the coming weeks and months, we will be able to go public with some of the results which are coming from that. Alternate energy sources and meeting energy transition through gas-based economy and green hydrogen and EVs. And I think all our companies are getting increasingly associated. So is the private sector. I have a strong belief that global turbulence, and I don't want to go into that into too much detail, whilst it is worrying on one count, because if supply chains get disrupted and we are import dependent up to what, 85% or thereabouts, there could be a major question mark on both availability and affordability. But I think the very fact that we agonize about that is also something that compels us to go into the domestic space, Atmanirbharta, and the transition much quicker. In my conversations with the head of the International Energy Agency about 2 years ago, when I just joined the ministry, when I discussed this, both of us were of the view that the more the uncertainty, the faster our pace of transition. Biofuels is a case in point. We have succeeded in not only putting a multiplier effect on our domestic production. We started in 2014 with just 1.4% of biofuel blending. The target then was 5%. That also not overall countrywide, but in a limited number of states and union territories, I think about 10 or so. But we ended up 2014 only with 1.4%. Secretary Shri Pankaj Jain ji just told me that we've already done 12% this month, which was our target. And we are well towards reaching our target of 20% biofuels blending by the time we finish the calendar year 2025. Now, it's not just the targets, there's good news there. One, you can never anticipate with any degree of certainty what the problem is going to be. Sometimes we have problems on X front, sometimes on Y front. But I think by virtue of the fact that we have been able to diversify and enlarge the feed which we are using, we can always shift. And I think the good news is that apart from more pressure, more desire coming from those who produce sugar-based distilling, the maize industry, all of them are equally keen, and I think the rate of use of maize is so high that it is impressive. When we come to green hydrogen, I personally am much more confident than the figures that people put out. Why? Because in the case of green hydrogen, a lot of global attention, particularly in one large country, which is the world's largest economy, focused work on green hydrogen, partly as a result of the Inflation Reduction Act. Now, very often people try to provoke me into saying कि वो तो subsidy है. अरे भाई पता नहीं क्या है. The whole fossil fuel industry is something we should be moving away from, and the quicker we do it, the better for us. And I am very happy that if people realize whether you can have electrolyzers without membranes, whether you can bring the cost of green energy, solar energy down from 25 to 3 cents, I think it's all doable. Whether you can have captive power plants in several of your refineries in order to produce green hydrogen, I think that's all work which is taking place. I was asking Vaidya ji just now what's happening to those 5 pilot plants on 2G. He said they're all doing well. And I'm told that the upcoming 10 KTA green hydrogen plant at Panipat will further augment your green energy transition. This unit is on the cusp of a major expansion, and it heralds a promising future for the nation's energy industry. I'm also told that the 3G plant is also awaiting formal inauguration. And I think any country which in a short period of time has been able to produce ethanol from agricultural waste, from bamboo, and the third generation from gases, I think can reasonably draw a reasonable degree of satisfaction that our work on this Atmanirbharta channel and with that philosophy is truly happening in this sector. The Paradeep refinery, which is the most modern and complex refinery of India, can process 100% high sulfur crude oil. I'm told that the refinery marked a major milestone when it handled its 1000th vessel at the South Oil Jetty in the recent past. This in and of itself is a very important achievement, and I congratulate all those, including the chief executive there and the head of Indian Oil. Your research and development center is doing good work. It's a world-class facility, and I'm happy to note that it has crossed the milestone of 1,500 patents filed amongst the Indian oil and gas companies. and has won recognition for decades of its pioneering work. I uphold the contribution of Indian Oil R&D Center along with that of the Paradeep and Panipat refineries in the successful production of these reference fuels. We are making rapid strides in the energy sector. I am more than confident that our journey on the sustainability front will also be successful, anchored as it is in sound policies and the required action to be taken to take the whole ecosystem along. The expedited implementation of fuel blending, moving the ambitious target of achieving 20% from 2030 to 2025, the sale of E25 blended fuel in over 5,000 petrol retail outlets, and significantly reducing emissions is, I think, these are all pointers. These are facts which point that the journey that we've undertaken is properly anchored in realistic targets. After much persuasion, Mr. Vaidya got me to agree to launch 2 green hydrogen buses in Delhi. I was not reluctant. All I said is 2 is too small a number. He said 2 abhi karwa lijiye, baki 15 December tak ho jayengi. I hope you are on target. He says he's on target. Good. So I'm publicly holding him to that target. Now, when you are the world's 5th largest economy and you are making strides to becoming the 3rd largest economy, it's not just the size of your economy, but it's the innovation, it's the transition, it's the example that you set for the other countries in the world. And therefore, when you have deliberations amongst your oil industry people in other countries, you can not only hold your head high, but you can teach them a few things. The fact that IOCL is one of the 3 companies in the world making these reference fuels is, I think, commendable. Today's modernization and digitization are more an imperative rather than a choice. Our competitive landscape heavily relies on innovation. Therefore, I congratulate all people, all professionals in the oil and gas sector and in IOCL, and I look forward to the other companies similarly showcasing their activities. Sometimes I get the feeling that some of the other companies are a little shy. Mr. Vaidya doesn't have that shyness. He's quite happy to bring it forward. So I tell him कि अभी 2 नहीं 15 करा लो, but वो भी ठीक है. Over the past 2 years or so that I have had the privilege of being associated with this ministry, I have seen that innovation is a buzzword in the oil and gas sector. I am so proud at a personal level that the oil and gas leaders have been consistently sustaining innovation in your processes and technologies to improve product lines for the customer. This not only fuels the Make in India initiative, but it also reflects your core value of nation first at every step. Congratulations and thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Puri, for those words. And I wouldn't be wrong in saying that those words must have infused fresh energy into the Indian Oil family this afternoon. I'd like to thank the Union Minister for coming here today and giving us your precious time. And we'd also like to thank Mr. Pankaj Jain for being here. And thank you so much, Mr. Vaidya, for leading your team into success. Thank you so much. And may I request all of you to kindly join us for lunch. And after that, we'll be dispersing. Thank you so much. So do join us, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
जोशी, hey जोशी,
वहाँ बाइट हो रही है, बाइट हो।